Well, looks like AEW Dynamite trying to be garbage tonight. Had me a good birthday by the way, already watching. I'm the Godfather Soldiers from Slimming. Name my topic tonight is called Pathetic and Poor in Philadelphia. So much I say tonight. Before I do, I'm gonna show a little bit of music. I will show the number one hit single that was a number one hit on my birthday, September 2nd, 1995, day I turned seven, called "You Are Not Alone" by Michael Jackson, late Michael Jackson. God rest his soul. It was written by God rest his soul. So stick around and get the music playing and right back. Um, I just heard that was late Michael Jackson, the number one single from 1995. You Are Not Alone. It's the number one single on my birthday, September 2nd, 1995. Yeah, it was. So, God rest your soul, Michael Jackson. God rest your soul, King of Pop. So, let's get started with tonight's terrible show. Okay, commentary starts to hype up tonight's lineup before Gabe Kidd shows up, telling us the clock is ticking before asking where Darby Allin is. Darby responds by sliding to the ring to go after the mercenary. Go after the mercenary. Kidd fights back before removing a turnbuckle, but Darby slams his hand against the exposed turnbuckle instead before he can continue. Kidd strikes back before taking him to the floor and sending him to the AEW TNT champion to the guardrail. He continues the attack before backing off to run down the crowd, which turns out to be costly as Darby climbs to the turnbuckle for a surprise coffin drop. Both men return to the ring where Kidd fights out of the corner as Wheeler Yuta shows up to intervene. Darby fends him off before catching and approaching Gabe with a springboard coffin drop. Eileen rolls out of the ring and retrieves a skateboard with thumbtacks on it, attacking Kidd and Yuta with it. Yuta rolls out of the ring as we see Kidd in the corner trying to get to his feet. The rest of the Death Riders surround the ring with Claudio starting to step into the ring when the lights cut out before a Hook signal reveals the final FTW champion making his way out. Hook doesn't get too far before the Ops come rushing out to brawl with the Death Riders, with Willow Nightingale coming out for the express purpose of going after Marina Shafir. It is absolute cold chaos in the ring at ringside, but we head to ringside at where we see Gabe holding down Darby on a forklift. He grabs a nearby hammer, but Allin manages to evade it in the nick of time. He goes to a nearby truck where he catches Kidd with some powder into the eyes, followed by a rag to take Kidd out long enough to retrieve a body bag. He puts Gabe into the bag, which gets attached to a chain that gets dragged by the truck when Darby goes for a joyride. Back inside, the commentary is astounded by what went down before talking about the big news regarding All Out on HBO Max, followed by looking at the lineup for tonight once again. The video package to build up TNT's TBS Championship as Alex Windsor looks to dethrone the CEO in a singles match from Forbidden Door. We head back to ringside for our next match with Mercedes Moné making her entrance first to show off her 8 belts on the ropes while approaching the ring to with the AEW TBS Championship itself. Our next is Alex Windsor as this match gets underway. AEW TBS Championship, Mercedes Moné defends against Alex Windsor. The two circle the mat before locking up, with Moné sending Windsor to the corner. Crowd chants CEO, which is kind of what it sucks from the fans, as the chant gets nearly caught with a sharpshooter by Windsor. Moné back up as she hits the ropes, but the challenger drops her with a back body drop to the mat. A chop sends the CEO to the corner, but she fights back with a hammer throw before Alex fights back with a couple of hit tosses before sending the champ down for a near fall. Mercedes is back up and catches the challenger with a statement maker, but Windsor makes it to the ropes for a break. Windsor heads to the outside as Moné follows, but the fight leads to Windsor sending the champ out the floor with a cannonball senton off the rope, off the apron. She brings Monet back in the ring for a clothesline for a 2 count. The fight heads to the ropes as Windsor catches the champ with a sharpshooter, but it's through the ropes. So a hold is illegal despite its damage done to Monet. She managed to break free before landing a powerbomb that sends the challenger to the floor because we go to an ad break on HBO Max. Back from commercial, both men are in the ring with Windsor hitting the ropes to hit a sudden tackle on a champion, leg sweep by the challenger, but it's only good for a 2. Windsor once again looking for a sharpshooter, but settles a blue thunder bomb for a near fall. Sharpshooter finally clinched in as fully as the CL struggles to break free, managing to counter a statement maker. Windsor looks for a cradle before rising to her feet, only the champ to catch her with a crucifix pin for a 2. Backstabber by Monet, but Windsor fights back with a spinebuster as we get a 10 minutes notice from the ring announcer. From the mat, Windsor is able to clinch the sharpshooter once more, but Monet breaks free enough to roll out of the ring, only for the hold to remain locked in. The ref is making a count as Windsor looks to inflict as much damage as possible. She slides back in the ring with the champ sliding in right as around 9. Windsor charges at Monet, who turns her around for a statement maker, but Windsor powers up to her feet before Monet counters with a DDT. Monet fights back with another attack, leaving both women on the mat to get back to their feet, trading strikes with Windsor getting the upper hand, sending the champ to the mat, before Monet fights back for a moneymaker. Windsor agrees to counter out, taking Mercedes down for a near fall. The fight heads to the corner, where Monet manages to turn things around, setting up for a statement maker. In the middle of the ring, Windsor crawls out toward the ropes, but Mercedes rolls back to reset the position. The challenger reaches to the ropes again, but instead rolls Monet up for a 2. Mercedes resets her own position, clutching Windsor for the 3 count to retain the title. Winner via pinfall and still TBS champion Mercedes Moné. After the match, Mercedes refuses to handshake flip off to Windsor before going to another statement maker. The attack is thwarted by the return of Rio, with the first ever AEW Women's TBS champion landing a missile dropkick on Monet to force the AEW TBS championship group on the entranceway. Backstage, we hear from the Ops before Hook interrupts and tells them not to fight his battles for him. Samoa Joe tries to clear the air about Haas replacing him in the trio's title match, as well as saying that they all have their battles tonight, battles to fight with the Death Riders. Hook looks less pleased about all this, storming off as we cut away. And go to commercial break. Backstage, we head backstage where Ricochet and GOA address the Hurt Syndicate and relying on their past legacies. Totally on states that they ended the Hurt Syndicate's title reign, and Bishop says Ricochet is alone and is better than the now former champs. This ends in Ricochet calling out the Hurt Syndicate for All Out. Head to the back as Mark Briscoe comes out to get a microphone for as we call it, a talkie-talkie. Briscoe talks about Philly being where his late brother got the start in professional wrestling. In 2025, Mark's focus on Kyle Fletcher and the TNT title is that he wears around his waist. Unfortunately, that involves a conversation with a man named Don Callis. This gets boos and fuck Don Callis chants from the crowd, to which Briscoe agrees before he runs down Callis. Briscoe now acknowledges that he has to face someone from the family to earn his title shot. His shot at title, telling Callis to bring whoever it is out there. Don Callis comes out with Ricky Romero and Lance Archer as he has something important to say. He knows that Mark is very impatient to get his answer, but you know what, Mark? Don's a little busy getting Kyle and Josh ready for the big 8-man main event later tonight. So if you want your answer, it's going to be something like you as did this Saturday on Collision. It'll be none other than the Alpha, Kazuki Takeshita. This brings out the G1 Climax winner, who stares Briscoe down as he approaches the ring. He steps up to stand up to his shorter Briscoe, as Callis tells him to say whatever he wants to do for Saturday. The Don Callis family starts to leave when Briscoe says he's good to fight Kazuki on Saturday, but he wants to give another whooping tonight first. Romero starts to take his shirt off before Callis calls Lance Archer to go instead. Briscoe gets a jump on him, but not long as a ref comes to the ring to get this impromptu match underway. Mark Briscoe versus Lance Archer. The fight spills to the outside as Briscoe lands a drop kick through the ropes on the Murder Hawk Monster, who just as quickly fights back before landing a chokeslam that sends Briscoe on a set of ring steps to go to a full ad break on HBO Max. Full ad break on HBO Max. Back from another break, Briscoe fights back from the corner for some strikes on Archer, who blocks a shoulder tackle from the ropes by Mark in response. Briscoe goes for it again, imagining instead to take the big man to the ropes for a forearm before sending him to the outside for a dive through the ropes to the floor. He brings Archer back in the ring, but is caught with a corner, allowing the Murder Hawk Monster to turn things around with a chokeslam and a cover. Briscoe cooks out, but Mark manages to get back in the ring in control for a near fall of his own. For Archer to get back to his feet, Briscoe sends him to the corner for some strikes to the big man down to Canals for a froggy bow for the win. Winning via pinfall, Mark Briscoe. Mark celebrates as we cut away to backstage. Tony Storm addresses the fans affiliate that her title reign surpassing a forever champion and a title collector. She tells the women of AEW to bring their best, their worst, and everything in between. God doesn't judge. That's Tony Storm's job. We cut to a little commercial break. Backstage, we hear from Chris Statlander and Harley Cameron. They talk about being undefeated, heated, before Cameron starts to call out Rodeo, with Chris saying they should focus on the likes of Megan Bang, Penelope Ford first. This gets interrupted by the arrival of Marina Shafir and Wheeler Yuta, as Chris tells them that she's got the message from their friend. Yuta senses tension and decides to head out as he's wrestling next. With that, we go back to ringside as Claudio Castagnoli joins Yuta and Shafir walking in through the crowd ahead of our next match. The champs make their way out next as Rodeo will head to the ring to get this match underway. AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Brody King and Bandito defend against the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Yuta and Bandito start things out with the crowd chanting, "Fuck you, Yuta." As Bandito takes Wheeler to the mat, only for Yuta to turn things around. He sends the champ to the corner, but Bandito stops his tracks, taunting Yuta before taking him down with a drop kick. Tags made to Claudio and Brody. who lay into each other with strikes before Claudio goes for another DDT, on for King to counter it. Giant swing gets stopped as well, but as Bandito comes in for a double team off the tag, he does the Macarena, looking for a suplex on the Castagnoli, tries to fight back before the champ takes him to the mat. Bandito heads to the top to the turnbuckle, but is caught with a backbreaker, forcing the champ to the outside, where you get some shots in as we go to an ad break on HBO Max. Full ad break on HBO Max. Back from the break, Willie was in the ring with Bandito, sending him for a 2 count. Tag made to Claudio, but the champ counters for a code red of sorts for a near fall, and then tags in Brody King. King sends Claudio into Yuta into the corner for a cannonball that sandwiches both men against the turnbuckle. Covered on Castagnoli and Castagnoli gets a 2 count for King. He gets an assist from Bandito before making a tag. Bandito does a head scissors on King, sending him into Claudio for a cover, but by Bandito for a 2. Bandito goes up top for a far splash, but Claudio rolls out of the way for making a tag to Wheel U. Blind tie, but Brody sets up for a double team, but before Brody sets up for a superplex, but Bandito made a blind tag as well, as he looks to finish things on for Marina to trip him up for this. This gives an opening for Claudio as Yuta take control, distracting the ref as Mox blindsides King on the outside. Power and Glory special from the Death Riders leads to a cover from Yuta, but Bandito manages to kick out. Giant swing for Claudio leads a drop kick by Yuta, who makes the cover, but Bandito refuses to give up as he kicks out again. And at ringside, we see Darby Allin attacking Mox to keep him from getting involved. Brody lands some hard shots on Claudio on the outside as Bandito hits a 21. As Bandito hits a 21 plex on Yuta for the pinfall to retain the belts. Wins via pinfall, still AEW World Tag Team Champions, Brodeo. Backstage, we hear from Katsushika Okada, who addresses the rising tension between the unified champion on Kanzuki Takashi, as the Rainmaker reminds Takashi that he is the top dog of Don Callis' family. Commercial break. We come back from break in the parking outlet area. We hear from the Hurt Syndicate, who addresses the challenge from GOA and the Ricochet. MVP accepts the challenge, saying he looks forward to getting back in the ring to slap Ricochet's disrespectful mouth shut. Back at ringside, Adam Copeland makes his way to address FTR, but the former tag champs get the jump on him instead. Christian Cage comes out to even things out. All 4 men go at it until security breaks it up. The fight manages to get into the ring as FTR goes after Cope in the corner before things break down again. This leads to wrestlers and other staff coming out to break it up, bringing Cope and Cage back up to the entranceway. Back in the ring, FTR stare down their foes before going after one of their wrestlers in the ring with a spiked pile driver. We see Adam Priest going after Darwood after the tag match that went down last week on Collision, and Dex gets busted open as things finally start to settle down before we cut away. And we look a video package and a look at what's gone between Daniel Garcia, John Moxley before they face off at Collision this Saturday. go to commercial break. Big backstage. Big Stoke addresses CNC ahead of All Out before Cash Wheeler sees Damon Priest approaching. Priest apologizes for getting heated earlier, but Wheeler runs him down, thinking 1 week on TV means Adam thinks he's somebody, challenging him to get his gear and finding a tag partner for Collision. We head back to ringside as the Young Bucks manage to finally get their music names back, but graphics still indicate an issue as they head to the ring for our main event. We get an inside look at the Bucks struggling to meet at a Greek earlier today. Before Josh Alexander and Kyle Fletcher make their entrance next, Just Speed makes their way out to a nice pop from the Philly crowd, who even pop louder for the arrival of Kenny Omega. Rounding out the entrance is Hangman and Page. The crowd showing their appreciation for the world champion. He heads to the ring to get this match on the main event underway. All-Star 8-man tag, Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and Jet Speed versus Kyle Fletcher, Josh Alexander, and Young Bucks. Crowd once again letting Don Callis know how they feel as Page and Alexander start things off. The trade holds with Josh getting an arm winger, only for Page to counter before hitting the ropes for a shoulder tackle. Josh starts to fight back, sending the champ to the ropes for a sneak attack by Fletcher. Fletcher tries to take advantage, but takes a boot form Page, sending him to the mat. Fletcher rushes to intervene, and this leads to a chaos as all 8 men go at it. This ends with Jet Speed and Omega catching up to Family Bucks for a 4-way dive on the outside. Alexander finds his way back into the ring, only to take a beating from Page and Omega as we go to an ad break on HBO Max. Back in the ring, Bucks take control of the speedball before a missile drop kick gets Bayley back in the ring to the swing of things. Tag made to Kevin Knight, who catches Nick for a near fall. Tag to Matt, who takes Kevin down to a local mission suplex before Knight counters with a tornado DDT off the turnbuckle. Page tags in now, sending Matt to a near fall away from slam. Fallaway slam. Young Bucks take the champ down before tagging in Fletcher, but Page gets an assist from Omega to deal with the Pro Star. Fletcher fights back, blocking a box shot lariat before tripping Hangman into the outside. He brings Page back in, only to get dropped with a power bomb by the world champion. Bayley and Alexander tag in with a speedball, landing some hard offense before Josh fights back with a German suplex. Bayley grabs the ropes to stop the momentum to get dropped by the apron, and by Josh, who sends him to the floor. Alexander stops on the barricade but gets caught with a clothesline from the ring by Knight, who's only for the Bucks to fend him off before hitting a TK driver on him. Then sending on speedball on the outside. They and Fletcher pose to the chagrin of the crowd as we go to an ad break on HBO Max. Full ad break on HBO Max. Back from the break, Nick and Speedball run down the canvas for a near fall, for chaos breaks out once more between all 8 men. Josh tags in to cut Speedball off from a tag, driving him to the turnbuckle before Bayley counters with a take Alexander down with a poison rana. Bayley makes a tag to Omega as Fletcher also tags in. As a true trade strikes until Omega heads to the ropes, where Fletcher catches in with a big boot to the face. Omega responds with a V trigger before locking in one ring angel, but it gets broken up before Nick Jackson tags in. Page reaches for a tag as we get a curious reunion of the Elite before all four of them go at it. This leads Page to a missing buckshot on Matt, only to force Nick to collide with one of his own on his own brother. Shots continue to be fired off between all 4 men before they drop to the mat to a justified "This is awesome" chant from the crowd. Fletcher tags in, taunting Page, riling him up before catching the world champ with a half and half suplex. He dodges the 9 before countering into a tombstone power driver for a 2 count. Page is in the corner as the AEW TNT Championship hits a running boot from a tag from Knight, means he comes running in for his near falls on Fletcher instead. Keep out the Bucks at bay on the ringside, but Fletcher dodges Kevin before things break out once more. This culminates with Kevin Knight taking Fletcher down for a UFO splash right onto the knees of the AEW TNT champion. Fletcher sends Knight to the corner, but he gets intercepted by Bailey, only for Bucks to intervene. They help clear the ring as Alexander sets up for a TK driver, handing Knight over to Fletcher as for the sheer drop bangbuster in the win. Winners via pinfall: Kyle Fletcher, Josh Anderson, and the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson. It seems the quartet is not done, however, as they continue fighting after the match. Out come Rocky Romero and Lance Archer to join the fun, setting up for a chair attack Page in particular. Fletcher lifts the world champion, dropping him with a sheer drop brainbuster right under the chair. Omega checks in on his old friend as the family sets up a table on the outside. Omega tries to fight back against the family, but a chair shot from Fletcher lays the best bout machine on the canvas. Fletcher rolls him out of the ring out onto the apron before sending Omega through the table for another spear for a sheer drop bangbuster. Officials run down and check on Omega as Page barely staring in the ring. Fletcher and the rest of the Don Callis trying to stand tall with the AEW TNT champion mocking the world champion for walking off. The family takes their leave as a stretcher is brought out for Omega to bring Dynamite to a close. Stupid, man. I really hope they're proud of themselves tonight. I really hope they're proud of themselves. Don Callis' family is going to pay. They're going to pay. They're differently going to pay. So that's all I'll do for my review for tonight. Tonight's AEW. Now it's time for something I like to do. It's time for hold on a second. Hold on a second. Um, okay, I'm back. Let me see if I can get this um start again. Cause all I know it's time for, as I said, all I know it's time for. It's time for Justin's time history, all the resting birthdays, pop culture, all that stuff. All you hear the things from Back to the Future, like Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. Celebrated its 40th anniversary on July 3rd, 1985. July 3rd, 2025. And it's set in July 3rd, 2025, and the movie was released July 3rd, 1985. Now let's go to yesterday, September 2nd, which was my birthday. Okay, September 2nd, 1985, was the 40th anniversary of the passing of Jay Youngblood. He died of heart failure. Yesterday was a happy birthday to T.J. Perkins. He turned 41 yesterday. Joe E. Legend turned 36 yesterday. He's born that. Yesterday was a happy 60th birthday to Ty Champion. Yesterday was a happy 34th birthday to Joe Osio. Uh, 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 Osi, Os, Joe Ocasio. That's it. And February. Okay, see September. See, on WCW Pro, okay, on WCW Pro, Johnny B. Bad defeated Otis Apollo, and WCW Worldwide, Arn Anderson, okay, on WCW Worldwide, September 2nd, 1995, my birthday, the day I turned 7. Arn Anderson defeated Ricky Santana after DDT. Harlem Heat defeat Ricky Garcia and Mike Legacy. The Shark and Zodiac and Kamala defeat Barry Houston, Terry Morgan, and Johnny Boone when the Shark pins Morgan after the Shark attack. The Macho Man Randy Savage defeats Paul Orndorff after the Flying Elbow Smash. And they were talking about the premiere WCW Nitro that airs on TNT, where it all started. Okay, on Superstars, the British Bulldog explains why in the world did he turn on Diesel on the why in the world he turn on Diesel on the August 21st, 1995 edition of Monday Night Raw. Listen to what he said.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Cornette and the British Bulldog. All right. Less than 2 weeks ago, British Bulldog, you shocked the entire World Wrestling Federation with what you did. Attacking the WWF champion, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, from behind. And then power slamming him down on the canvas. How could you have possibly set up someone like that? How could you have possibly done what you did? You said that your partner, Lex Luger, had to go home. A medical emergency. He wasn't at home.
That was good.
You set him up. You set everybody up. And the question is, why, Davey? The question is, why, Davey? Why?
Hey, let me explain something to you, Vince McMahon, first of all, and I wouldn't be surprised that you'd ask a question like that because you're passing the buck. You've been a part of this. All these people have been a part of it. The whole stinking World Wrestling Federation's been a part of it. It's real simple.
Nice haircut.
What happens when a guy has a job where he does all the work and gets none of the credit, where he has all of the talent but gets none of the glory, where he has all the ability but he gets none of the rewards?
Yeah, I can relate.
It preys on his mind until one day he snaps, goes to the closet, gets an AK-47. You read about it in the newspaper tomorrow. That's what happened to the former Davey Boy Smith, now the new British Bulldog. He has been saddled with a partner like Lex Luger, where he carried the team, won all the matches. He's the one that got everything done, but who did the people recognize? Who did the people cheer for? Lex Luger. What'd they say? USA. USA. This man's from England. What motivation does USA give him? They might as well have been saying Bolivia, Bolivia. It didn't make any difference. And then you come to his capability. British Bulldog, one of the biggest international stars in the world. He's a former World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champion. He beat Bret Hart for the Intercontinental title in front of 80,000 people in Wembley Stadium. He's one of the biggest stars in the world. But has he ever even once gotten the opportunity to wrestle for the World Wrestling Federation heavyweight title? Even once to challenge for it? Not once. You know why? Because they're scared of him. So they passed him over. They said, Davey Boy's a nice guy. Who wants to sign the autographs? Let Davey Boy do it. Who do we give the title shot to? One of our fair-haired boys. Davey's a nice guy. He'll understand. Who comes early and does the publicity? Who stays late and cleans up after? Let Davey Boy do it. He's a nice guy. Well, this ain't Davey Boy Smith anymore. Davey Boy Smith is dead. The British Bulldog is here, and this is one dog that is determined to go out and take what he wants, and this is one dog that's determined to have his day.
All right, please, if you can, tell us, how did it feel when you did what you, surely you had some misgivings. How did it make you feel when you had double-crossed and set Diesel up and attacked him like that and turned your back on Lex Luger in the process? How did it feel inside?
You know what, Vince McMahon? People are saying to me, are you sorry for what you did, British Bulldog? Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't do it sooner. Because you know what?
That was good.
Nice guys finish last. I'm not a nice guy, and I'm not going to finish last. I come and sign every one of your stinking kids' autographs. What do I get? Nothing. I step in the ring with Owen Hart. What do the people chant? We want Brett. We want Brett. I step in the ring with Lex Luger. What do the people say? USA. USA. I'm sick of it. I never get nothing. No, I want a bone to eat. Big Daddy Cool, I sank my teeth into you at Monday Night Raw. And when I got the taste of you, I loved it. And now, the British Bulldog wants more, and he's gonna get more. He's not right, Jim Cornette.
That's exactly right, and I'm putting everybody in the WWF on notice. From Magilla Gorilla, the president, on down. Brother, this is a new British Bulldog, and this is one dog whose bite is a whole lot worse than his bark.
Well, there we have it. The British Bulldog and Jim Cornette covering all bases. Especially considering in your house, it's the first ever triple header. A new dog, a new day.
Yep, that was September 2nd, 1995, from WWF Superstars, from British Bulldog swing his heel turn. Then on WCW Saturday night, Ric Flair defeated Barry Houston with a figure 4 leg lock. Brian Pillman defeated Aldous Power for touring DDT. Then Sergeant Craig Pittman defeats Terry Morgan via submission to the Code Red. Then let's see what else. Then on Impact Wrestling, Okay. On Impact Wrestling, September 2nd, 2005, the day I turned 16 and 17. Sean Waltman and Alex Shelley defeated Conan and Lance Hoyt, the Free Live Crew. And they talk about Impact Wrestling moving to Spike. Impact Wrestling moving to Spike TV. They were talking about Impact Wrestling moving to Spike TV. On October 1st, 2005. Then Shark Boy defeated Christopher Daniels. Chris Sabin and Shocker defeated Chris Sabin and Shocker defeated Ron Killings and Sanjay Dutt. Sonny Siaki defeated Monty Brown via DQ. Sonny Siaki defeated Monty Brown via DQ. James Storm defeated NWA World Tag Team Champion Chase Stevens and World Tag Team Champion Andy Douglas and Jimmy Hart. James Storm defeated James Storm defeated Andy Douglas and Jimmy Hart. They defeated Chase Stevens with World Tag Team Champion with NWA World Tag Team Champion Andy Douglas and Jimmy Hart. Chris Harris was with James Storm's ringside. In 2015, in 2005, a couple of movies released in theaters. See, three movies released in theaters: The Sound of Thunder starring Gregory Ben Kingsley, Catherine McCormick, and Edward Burns. Underclassman starring Nick Cannon. Supporting cast includes Rosalind Sanchez, Kelly Hu, and Cheech Marin, which was a flop. It was 21 Jump Street meets Beverly Hills Cop meets 21 Jump Street, in my opinion. And Transporter 2 Transporter 2 was released. Sequel to 2002's Transporter, starring Jason Statham, was released. One of my favorite movies. Sequel. Transporter 2. And 2015 on Impact Wrestling, September 2nd, the day I turned 27. Bobby Lashley defeated Chris Mordecki. Some of you know as Chris Masters from WWE by DQ. Ryan Myers and Trevor Lee defeated the Wolves to win the TNA World Tag Team Championship. Bobby Roode defeated PJ Black to win the TNA King of the Mountain Championship. Brown defeated Kenny King. And Ethan Carter III with Tyrus defeated Matt Hardy with Jeff Hardy in TNA World Heavyweight title versus Jeff Hardy Services match. Then on NXT, Baron Corbin and Rhino defeated The Ascension, Conor Victor and Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Tournament first round match. Alexa Bliss defeated Blue Pants. Apollo Crews defeated Martin Stone. Eva Marie defeated Billie Kay. Chad Gable and Jason Jordan defeated Neville and Solomon Crow and Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Tournament first round match. Okay, now let's go to today's September the 3rd. Okay, today's a happy 60th birthday to Charlie Sheen. Pat Barrett would have been 84 yesterday. Japanese wrestler Hana Kimura would have been 28. She died died of suicide May 23rd, 2020 due to nasty comments. Black Pearl, Samoan American wrestler, he turned 57 yesterday. Butcher Brannigan would have been died of kidney failure, would have been 77. Richard Brannigan would have been 77. He would die of kidney failure. He died on September 3rd. He was born on September 3rd. He would have been 77 today. He died on September 6, 2009. Died of kidney failure. Butcher Brannigan. Let's see. Let's see. 1995 on WWF Action Zone. On the Action Zone USA Network. Skip with Sonny defeated Bob Holly. Red Radford defeated Matt Hardy. Doink the Clown defeated Joe Hancock, Jobber. And on WCW main event, Barry Hilson defeated Kamala. Brian Pillman defeated Marcus Alexander Bagwell. Some of you know it was Buff Bagwell. And on WWE Velocity, Brian Kendrick defeated Paul London. Hardcore Holly defeated Steve Madison. Doug Basham defeated Michael Patrick. Super Crazy with Juventud and Psychosis defeated Nunzio with Vito. And on SmackDown, this day on SmackDown, Thursday Night SmackDown, leading up to Night of Champions. Dudley Boys defeated primetime players. Sheamus defeated Cesaro. Bo Dallas defeated R-Truth. Charlotte with Becky Lynch Paige defeated Charlotte with the Man Warrior. Becky Lynch and Paige defeated Tamina with Naomi and Sasha Banks. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns defeated the New Day. Big E and Kofi Kingston with Xavier Woods by DQ. And that's it. That'll do it. Got everything covered. I'm the Godfather Soldiers from Slimming. Hope all of you good night. And don't forget tomorrow, everybody. Tomorrow is the 40th anniversary. Tomorrow is the 40th anniversary of tomorrow's the 30th anniversary of the Monday Night Wars between WWE, Monday Night Raw on the USA Network, and WCW Monday Nitro on TNT, where it all started, the Monday Night Wars. So I hope all of you good night. And I'm out here. I'm the Godfather Soldier who's slamming his late Chad Henshaw always say, I like to dress like a church, dance like James Brown, dance like James Brown, sing like James Brown, like to get in that hot tub, gonna be sweat, gonna be dry, gonna be wet. Referring to Eddie Murphy doing the impression of James Brown on Saturday Night Live. And Eddie Murphy doing the impression of James Brown on Saturday Night Live back in the 80s. I never grew up in the 80s, I grew up in the 90s. So I hope all of you good night. I'm out of here. Peace. So I'm going to close out something with a little bit of music for all of you tonight's number one single. That was the number one single on my birthday, September 2nd, 2005. The day I turned 17. We Belong Together by Mariah Carey. So I hope all of you good night. I'm out of here. Peace. And here it is. We Belong Together by Mariah Carey. Good night. Hold on a second. Okay, here it is. Let me start this up again. Here it is. Mariah Carey's number one hit single, We Belong Together, number one hit single from 2005. Good night, everybody.